The syntax I just showed you was for a pointer to a global function, a little handy utility like doubler or tripler. If you want to use a pointer to a member function, something that's a member of a class, it's a little trickier. First, when you set up the typedef, you have to name the class. A member function of the utility class that takes no parameters and returns an int is what's being typedefed here. And you wouldn't be allowed to use that pointer to point to a member function of a totally unrelated class like bank account that also happens to take no parameters and return an int. When you want to set the value, here we're declaring an instance of that typedef called action, and we actually use the address of, say, the address of utility : triplex. This is uglier than just saying the name of the function as you saw when they were free functions, but it's actually less confusing for some people because now at least it's obvious why it's called a function pointer. We're using the address of operator, and we sort of expect to use that when we set pointers. That's how we set, integer pointers, and it was kind of weird that we didn't have to do that for free functions. When you want to use it, again, it's a pointer, so you dereference it. Now there's a lot of brackets here, and again, they're not optional. So first reading from the inside out, dereference the pointer *action. That gives us what the function pointer points to. We want to say u.that. That whole thing needs to be in some round brackets, and then we have another pair of round brackets where the parameters go. And this particular typedef, as you see at the very top, this function doesn't take any parameters, so we have empty round brackets there. I have a class here called utility, who has this XX and triplex methods, has an x private variable constructor that sets the value of that x, and I either return double it or triple it. Inside functions, I have this manipulate utility function. It declares a local utility instance, in this case called u, passing in a number, sets up this function pointer, and then with a similar if that we had before, but just checking against 3, I'm going to set action either to the triplex or to the XX method. And then I'm going to call whatever it is that action points to. In my main, I'm going to pass in the value of 5. So since 5 is greater than 3, we'll expect to see it tripled, and we'll expect to see 15 come back as our answer. So let's run this. I'll step in. And again, you can watch in the locals window down here. Action is currently uninitialized memory. Since our value passed in is 5, we've built a utility using 5, and that's greater than 3, so we expect to set this now to triplex. That's exactly what happens, and you notice that the debugger is aware that it's utility's triplex and not somebody else's. Then when we invoke the method, we can step in and find ourselves invoking that method. Step out and out again, and I4 is 15 as expected. So member functions, a little bit trickier to work with than global functions, but still well within the realm of possibility.